All right, we cross live now to Port Harcourt, where the Accord Party is holding its rally ahead of the general elections. Let's tune in.
No other less a human being, a personality of this state will be leading us through this exercise this morning. A man who stands out among several candidates for political office, for governorship in Rivers State, as the very best, as the epitome of all the candidates. A man that has achieved in various walks of life, not only as a legal luminary, not only as a chief executive of a very thriving multinational company, but somebody who has impacted severally, altruistically, as a humanitarian par excellence. We will listen to him. We will not speak for him now. My duty is to hear welcome all of you from far and wide, citizens, great citizens of Rivers State here present, distinguished guests from outside the state, and members of the clergy, and of course, the fourth estate of the realm, the press. You're welcome. Relax and savor the best that can come from any party in the world, the Accord Party. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Professor Orwell Musen, the chairman of this occasion. And without wasting much of your time, we have less than 1 hour or thereabout of the streaming thing going on the media line. That means we have to rush whatever we are doing here and be sure we are through in the next 1 hour. Having said that, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I bring to the microphone the State Party Chairman, Dr. Nnanna Onyekwere, to step up and welcome everybody again, this time to this occasion. Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much.
His Excellency, Chief Dumolulu Briggs, and his running mate, Princess Didam, the national chair of our party and the chairman of today's event. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this special and historic event. On behalf of the Accord family, on behalf of Chief Dumolulu Briggs and his running mate, we are indeed honored to have each and every one of you here today. We are excited to share this event with you, considering the difficulties and challenges of our time. We specifically welcome and appreciate the presence of our national chairman, Dr. Mohammed Lawal Nalado. We also appreciate the presence of the national legal advisor, Mr. Maxwell Mbudem, and the national treasurer, Mike Lerima. We also welcome Royal Highnesses, Royal Majesties. We also welcome the Lord Temporal and Spiritual. We welcome the captains of industries. We welcome the representatives of the professional groups and bodies. We welcome the representatives of the socio-cultural and ethnic organizations here. We welcome the representatives of the religious organizations here. We welcome the women, the youths, and our friends from the fourth estate of the realm. Today's event marks an important moment for all of us, a moment of decision, a moment of action, an opportunity to take back our destinies in our hands and henceforth be responsible for deciding who governs us. It is common to hear people seeking for public office launch or present manifestos, which are commonly copy and paste documents with no ownership and no ideology behind them. Today, we are here to receive not just a manifesto, but a social contract between Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs and the people of Rivers State, to which he will be held accountable to at the end of his tenure as governor of Rivers State. In addition to the manifesto, you also received the manifestos that speak to specific peculiarities, potentials, needs, and action plan for each of the 23 local government areas in Rivers State. Everyone seated here will hear about his LGA and what he plans to do in his or her local government. We're all aware that time is valuable and for all of us, and appreciate that you prioritize our invitation and are here not minding the present difficulties and challenges with cash and of course possible repercussions. Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs would often always quote his father as saying that the hour shall find a man. May I borrow from that quote. I therefore make bold to say that the time and situation of things in Rivers State have found a man, and that man is Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs, the governorship candidate of Accord for the 2023 Rivers State governorship election. Once again, we thank you for being here. We are delighted to have you here and pray that you'll be convinced, convicted, and pushed to action come 22nd March 2023. If you're still undecided, we believe after this event, you would be decided and become a messenger of the good news that the hour has found a man, and that man is but Dumo Lulu Briggs. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, we understand that there are different groups and different peoples who are here with us today. We have the Igbo community, but I'd especially like to recognize the Akwa Ibom community in Rivers State as led by their Vice President, Apostle Dr. Prince Isaac E. Umoete, JP. I'd also like to recognize the Chairman, Ijo Youth Council, Eastern Zone, Honorable Comrade Tamuno Popo. Thank you very much for joining us today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without much delay at this time, it's my singular honor to welcome, for his remarks, the National Chairman of Accord, Honorable Mohammed Lawal Nalado. Please put your hands together for our special visitor.
Accord. Accord. Oneness and progress. Oneness and progress. The chairman of the occasion, my colleagues from the National Working Committee here present, particularly the legal advisor and the national treasurer, the state party executive of Accord, Rivers State, His Excellency, the gubernatorial candidate of Accord and the flag bearer of Accord in the forthcoming gubernatorial elections, which we are hopefully and we are strongly sure, by the grace of God, is going to be returned, elected on the day of the election. His running mate, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Time will not allow me to speak so much about Dumo Lulu Briggs, but I'm happy I'm here today to share joy with the people of Rivers State and to join hands in celebrating this memorable day where Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is going to unveil his manifesto. I'm sure his manifesto is something that will be welcomed by the Rivers State people. His manifesto is not too much different from what he has been doing to the people of Rivers State, only that this one will have official capacity. But at a personal level, we all know him. He's a philanthropist, he's a father, he's a leader, and we know he has the capacity not only to govern Rivers State. We believe he's the kind of person that if you give him the mantle of leadership of Nigeria, he can steer it very well. But we want to test him from Rivers first. By the grace of God, time will come when Nigerians will say the man that is doing that good in Rivers should come and rule Nigeria for us. So ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased and I'm very happy for being with you today to witness this very important occasion where Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is going to unveil his manifesto. And like I said, it's not going to be too much different from what he has been doing. Everybody know him as a very good person, and when you see the manifesto, you will believe what I've said. So I want to thank every one of us here, and I wish God will guide us in what we are going to do. Thank God we started with a very good prayer from our Archbishop. We thank you so much for the prayers, and we hope God will answer the prayers. We will do this meeting in peace, peacefully, and go back to our various destinations peacefully. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. I didn't hear us say amen to the prayer that he just gave. Now, as we know, the man Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs, the governorship candidate of the Accord, is one man who has sincere love for the creative industry in Rivers State and Nigeria. And that love is not politically motivated. For those who have known him for as long as they have, they can tell that politics, campaign, rallies or not, he is a supporter of the creative industry. And that is why we have made time in this very short and very full schedule to entertain the creative industry, to show the rest of the world what is born from Port Harcourt. And to give us a special presentation for the next 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome the talented men and women from Agenda Theatre.
For time purpose, we'll have to skip that. It will come later. In the meantime, I'd like to bring up to the microphone Dr. Orji, please. Dr. Orji, please.
Mamblas, am I being dressed in borrowed robes? Your Excellency, the National Chairman of Accord, and members of the national delegation here present, Your Excellencies, Your Royal Majesties, Highnesses, community leaders and traditional rulers, my lords, spiritual, Accord leadership in the state, our candidates, all members of professional associations, the NMA, NUJ, NAWOJ, all leaders of cultural organizations, the Seriki of the Hausa community came very early. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is a video clip in law. They say the fact speaks for itself that you watch that will better introduce the man of the moment. Dumo Lulu Briggs is the enunciator of the We Agenda program that seeks to set people first. There is what they call a polymorph hero. A polymorph hero is that person who incarnates the collective will of his people. In Latin, they say Deus ex machina, the intervention of God in the affairs of men. And it is time for God to intervene in the affairs of River State. And the instrumentality for such orchestration is the Ebriel Lulu II, the Menedumo one of Taba, the paramount head of Oruwari Bricks Work in the house of Abadima. By God's grace and your collective will, the incoming governor of River State, His Excellency Chief Dumo Lulu Bricks. So just sit back and watch that clip. After that, His Excellency will take the stage. An orator par excellence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
A lawyer, take a brief profile of Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs. A lawyer, technocrats and Democrats, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is a philanthropist, accomplished businessman, meticulous, shrewd, strategic, cultured, and a gentleman par excellence. Those who know him confirm that he is cerebral, eloquent, charitable, and breathtakingly simple. Dogged in his fight for justice, DLB, as he is fondly called by his admirers, is a veteran of several battles for equity and fairness. Early life. Born on June 17, 1964, to the family of High Chief Obi Lulu Briggs, OON, and Madam Irene Danagogo, both of Abonima, in Akokotoro local government area of River State, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is an exemplary man, leader, advocate, tutor, and formidable ally. The scion of the legendary High Chief Olu Benson Lulu Briggs, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs had his primary education at Township School, Moscow Road, Port Harcourt from 1970 to 1975. He proceeded to Government Comprehensive Secondary School, Port Harcourt for his secondary education from 1975 to 1980. He enrolled at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and obtained the LLB degree in 1985 and was called to the Nigerian bar in 1986. Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs further obtained a master's degree LLM from the prestigious London School of Politics and Economics, University of London. Determined to hone his leadership and top managerial skills, he attended several executive leadership courses at Harvard University, Cambridge University, and the Southern Methodist University, SMU, Dallas, Texas, USA. Dumo Lulu Briggs had this to say of himself. As a young boy, I sold water on the streets of Port Harcourt and washed dishes, so I know and understand the pains of the poor, whose numbers are rising while the number of the rich is dwindling in the state. My father was very strict. He insisted that I read law. That training has helped me to take on other challenges outside the legal profession. Under my father's tutelage, I carved a niche for myself as a corporate player, technocrat, and grassroots mobilizer. Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs comes across as a complete man who he has truly become in the last 50 plus years of his life. Personal life. A legal practitioner, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, and the International Bar Association, IBA. Apart from being a successful lawyer, he is a very notable player in the oil and gas sector of the country's economy. He is the current chairman of the board of Platform Petroleum Limited, an indigenous oil and gas company, and its subsidiaries. He is also a key player in the marine sector. The executive chairman of DLB Marine Limited, Blue Waves Marine and Construction Company Limited, and several other marine companies operating under the blue chip corporate conglomerate DLB Group of Companies. Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs has maintained a distinguished working career in the private and public sectors in Nigeria. He was the legal advisor and company secretary, as well as contributing editor to Associate Media Limited from 1990 to 1991, solicitor and national head of Chambers, Edu and Mohammed Solicitor, 1991 to 1992, and principal partner in Nwoka and Lulu Briggs Law Office from 1992 to 1998. He was company secretary and legal advisor to Monipolo Limited, an indigenous independent oil and gas exploration company. He later served as the managing director, pioneer executive director, and chief operating officer of the same company from 1995 to 2004. Public sector service. Chief Dumolulu Briggs served as chairman board of directors of 2 federal parastatals, namely Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, Akwa Ibom State, and Federal Medical Center, Owerri, Imo State. He was a member of the River State Economic Advisory Council from 2007 to 2011. Social and community service. Chief Dumolulu Briggs' social services include member Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorers, NAPE, fellow Institute of Corporate Managers and Public Administrators of Nigeria, FCMPA, member First Association of Port Harcourt, member Nyemoni Asawo Obo of Abonima, member Kengema Minao Obo of Abonima, and several social and cultural clubs in Nigeria. In July 2021, Chief Dumolulu Briggs was installed as Ebuye Lulu II, Inikeirari VI of Kalabari Kingdom, and the paramount head of Oruwari Briggs Group of Houses of Abonima. A worthy son, he has continued in the legacies of his late father, High Chief Olu Benson Lulu Briggs, a great respecter of traditional values and institutions, a vocal proponent and admirer of culture. He leaves no one in doubt about his respect for traditional authority. Chief Dumolulu Briggs is a peacemaker and a unifier. He has brought peace to his hometown, Abonima, particularly between the Amayenabo of Abonima and the Oruwari Briggs House. Until his intervention, the Oruwari Briggs House never recognized the office of the Amayenabo of Abonima. This was a long-standing source for disharmony and conflict in the town, as 2 factions of the Abonima Council of Chiefs were at loggerheads. In the same vein, he resolved the once intractable conflict in the Membre House of Abonima and brought the Workino House under a unified leadership. He also resolved the leadership issues in the National Union of River State Students by bringing the students' body under one leadership. Philanthropy and youth empowerment. Chief Dumolulu Briggs is an acknowledged giver and philanthropist par excellence. He does not relent in reaching out regularly to the less privileged and places like Children's Home and orphanages, Home for the Elderly, the Home for Street Kids in Port Harcourt, the Home for the Physically Challenged, and people living with disabilities. He awards scholarships yearly to indigent students across the 23 local government areas of River State. He gives financial assistance to persons with different health challenges, including sponsorship of major surgeries locally and overseas. In the last decade, he has always celebrated his birthday either with pupils of his alma mater at Township School, Port Harcourt, or with the less privileged, especially at the Cheshire Home, Port Harcourt. DLB is very passionate about helping the less privileged because he believes that ultimately it is in giving that humanity finds fulfillment. A pragmatic, full of benevolence, he has always given hope to the hopeless, jobs to the jobless, welfare and succor to the poor and needy. This attribute was displayed in abundance as DLB visited and sent relief materials to several communities ravaged by the 2022 floods in River State. He is a comforting and passionate hand to everyone who comes his way. He is a friend to the youth, a role model to the young, a helper to many, and a visionary to hundreds of youths whom he mentors. He is the grand patron of one of the most outstanding non-partisan youth organizations in Nigeria, the Dumolulu Briggs Youth Foundation, DYF23, that empowers youths and engages them in meaningful and productive activities in the 23 local government areas of River State. He is a regular sponsor of many youth empowerment programs in the state, including the most recent K.O. Baba Youth Convention, where he gave 5 million to assist Rivers youths. He and his associates recently gave 5 million naira to the Theatre Arts Department of the River State University, Port Harcourt. Those who are acquainted with the public engagements of DLB will appreciate his love and passion for the youths. Awards. Over the years, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs has received several awards, including the 2021 Forbes Best of Africa Energy Personality of the Year, Best Parastatals Board Chairman of the Year 2010 by the International Publications Limited, publishers of the International Maritime Digest, Distinguished Nation Builders Merit Award, DINBMA, Garden City Advancement Award, GCAA as Rivers Man of the Year, African Achievers Award for Humanitarian Excellence in 2016, Honorary Rotarian Award in 2015, and was inducted into the Rotary Club of Port Harcourt South, Rotary International District 9140. Political life. Chief Barrister Dumo Lulu Briggs' active political career began in 1992 when he contested the House of Representatives seat for Akokotoro Federal Constituency on the platform of the Social Democratic Party SDP. Thereafter, he became the National Assistant Legal Advisor for the Grassroots Democratic Movement GDM from 1996 to 1998. He was the governorship candidate of the National Democratic Party NDP for Rivers State in 2003. He was a governorship aspirant for the People's Democratic Party PDP in 2015. He was the Rivers State governorship candidate of the Accord in 2019 general elections and came third despite contrived conspiracy to ensure that he was not on the ballot. Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is the 2023 Rivers State governorship candidate of the Accord. He has since received a series of endorsements from many quarters, including the South-South chiefs, elders, and opinion leaders. His message of the We agenda, putting people first, is a major reason Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs' candidacy has become quite attractive to the electorate. He promises an all-inclusive government and a change from an oil-dependent state to one that flourishes in education, manufacturing, tourism, and agriculture, a society that provides equal opportunity for all. He says, "I am not a regular politician. In fact, some people say that I am not even a politician. If I were a politician, I probably would have been the governor of River State a long time ago because I would have done the things that politicians do. But because I do not want to be that governor that will fail you, I choose not to be the regular politician." Chief Barrister Dumo Lulu Briggs is married and a father of 4 wonderful children. His interests include administration, sports, writing, and philanthropy. He is a committed Christian and church worker, contributing immensely to church growth activities, both physically and financially.
Are you clapping? Are you clapping? We know he's not a regular politician, but if I go by what Prophet T.B. Joshua predicted in 2021, he said there will be 3 parties in River State here. The unknown one, the smallest one, will prevail. The other 2, they will be fighting themselves until the unknown wins. May I, at this point in time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, present to you our governor in waiting, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs.
Thank you. Please sit down. Well, I hope you're not blocking the view of our guests, so they'll be able to see me. Good afternoon, eminent persons of the clergy, kings and chiefs, captains of industry, heads of organizations, students, members of our great party Accord, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of us to the unveiling
of I and my party's manifesto and what we have called the mini-festo. And I want to go straight ahead and say thank you immensely for coming. What we owe ourselves, what we owe our children, our communities, state and nation, is our best and the truth at all times. In less than a week, we shall have presidential elections and National Assembly elections. 2 weeks after, we shall have governorship and state assembly elections. And again, our democracy will be on trial. Yes, our democracy will be on trial. We do know that nations fail. Yes, nations fail. We do know that states fail. So we all must live in the inspirations of the pressing needs of this present time. It is important that at this time we ask ourselves some very critical questions. Knowing especially that there shall be a great reform in our politics if reason was to travel as rapidly and swiftly as folly. But that is not the case. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we in the Accord are very concerned. And we want to make a difference in people's lives. We know who we were. And I tell you, because this is so very concerning, Martin Wolf, a great financial commentator, has wondered how democracies can survive if so many people think that lying doesn't matter. Democracy, after all, is a moral system that rests on moral values. We have to consider that we all are equal citizens. We have to govern through debates. We have to be peaceful in our political relations and argue honestly. And yes, that was who we were as Rivers people. Rivers State was created in 1967 to offer prosperity to all her peoples. And we were a tribal people. We were one big Rivers family. We didn't know who was Ikwere. We didn't know who was Ogoni. We didn't know who was Calabari. We didn't know who was Ebane. We didn't know who was Ekpe. We were all one big Rivers family. As a young boy growing up in Rivers State, all I was taught and I saw was one big Rivers family. Every parent was a parent to every child in the neighborhood. That was who we were. Even our worst quarrels were turned into songs. And soon after, all that we remembered was the melody in the songs. When we engaged in ways that were unhealthy, we quickly remembered and we sang. Silence to fear quite jealousy. I have no time to talk to you. Talking to you is a waste of time. You're under my capacity. That was who we were. Our public institutions were strong. Our public schools were the best. The children of commissioners and permanent secretaries and those of farmers all attended the same schools and were taught by the same teachers. At Government Comprehensive Secondary School, we were taught English by an Englishman. And those who taught us physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics were Indians and Pakistanis. That means we were taught by the very best. And were told by our parents and our schools to keep a deep, abiding faith in God and a compelling sense of our humanity and love for humankind. That was who we were. Every morning before we went for classes, we had morning devotions. I will rest our feet squarely in God. I will sing, "Oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our hope from thy stormy blast, and our eternal home." And at night, if we were not sure that we had put our foot in all the right places, we sang, "Dear Lord and Father of mankind, forgive our foolish ways. Reclothe us in our rightful minds, in purer lives thy service find, in deeper reverence praise." That was who we were. Everything was good. After school, we found jobs. Our parents were employed. The civil service was great. And we had great places for recreation. We had the number 1 field, the number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we went to the zoo at Transamadi. We had 5-star hotels, like Hotel Presidential and Hotel Olympia. It was good. And we all were proud of our state. And each time that we tuned on to a radio, for those who remember, please join me. What you hear will be, "Love River State or leave her alone. Don't pull her down. Think what you can do for her. Engage yourselves in meaningful activities. No room for gossip. Do something meaningful." We are very proud of our state. However, the years from 1999 to today have been disastrous for both opportunities and equality. We have had no varieties in our lives. Just the vanities of our leaders which we have had to endure, and which has become exceedingly distasteful to us. Our leaders can no longer even simulate an affection for us that they do not bear, nor a grief that they do not feel. It is so sad. And therefore I will urge that we all live in the inspirations of the pressing needs of this present time. In 1999, Rivers State and Lagos were at par. Today, Lagos State is said to be the 4th or the 5th largest economy in Africa. A state within Nigeria is said to have an economy larger than the economies of most African countries. And the economy of Rivers State is a shadow of its past. Today we have a prosperity that has left more than 98% of our people behind. Rivers State was indeed created to offer prosperity to all our peoples. Our situation at this time, I will say, is unfortunate. And I will give a few examples to show. We went to Abua in 2022 last year to commission our party secretariat. And as it has become customary with us, at the end of the exercise, we go into our communities to see how our people are faring. And oftentimes we choose the market. So on that day, we chose to go to the market in Abua. We got to the market at about 4:30. And we saw an old woman, over 80 years of age. And Mama said she had been there from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 4:30 p.m. when we arrived there. And all that Mama had to sell in the small tray that she carried were just leaves. I will ask Mama, how much? And Mama says, 280 naira. So for 280 naira, Mama had been in the market from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 4:30 p.m. in the evening, without as much as water to drink. Again, we went to Ungo in Andoni to commission our party secretariat. I had gone to a small community in Kana, and I saw life at its worst, and I thought it couldn't be worse anywhere else. But then I went to Ungo. Then I saw miles and miles and miles of emptiness. Men and women with long drawn faces coming up from fishing pots, several fishing pots. I'm not sure I saw a historic building at Ungo. And even their biggest market was just like a small abattoir. And then I recall that in the same 2022, we saw some elephants come out of the Andoni forest, which tells us that if we had properly harnessed our resources and committed 100% to effective governance, Andoni would have become a major tourist center. So the resources of Rivers State, you would say, is trapped in the underdevelopment of our communities. As floods ravage our communities and our villages, I went to a village called Emelago, again in Abua Odua. And I saw whole communities submerged in water. It could not have been worse. The only thing on land was a health center, which was built to house no more than 30 persons, but had become home to more than 600 people. At night, the men slept in their canoes to let in some air for the women and children. And I saw a little boy, no more than 3 years, in his mother's arms, looking piercingly into the eyes of his mother as if to glean a future. And then it dawned on me that just like others before that young boy, as vast as this universe is, Emelago, that village, may end up being that young boy's whole universe. This is the sorry state of our affairs. This is the sorry state of our affairs. Today, Rivers people, like the people of Ukraine, live on three questions: how to live, where to live, and on what money to live. Today in Rivers State, lives and property are held by no greater tenure than the car price of a mob. And our laws are continually despised and disregarded. Our citizens' love for state has waned. Today in Rivers State, our mothers still go 6 feet below her childbirth. And every mother knows of yet another mother who has just lost a child. Our fathers go infirm through premature aging, and our children go to bed illiterate and hungry. Our people are locked in the gloom of the tents they call home, trapped in the quagmire of poverty set by their leaders. Today, our very own young men and women, students, have become the sandwiched generation, too old today to be something, and too old tomorrow to be anything. Therefore, we cannot afford to be deficient in the courage necessary for us to rise and to ensure that there was nothing that threatened our common future. And begin to knit those tiny little threads that hold a people's happiness. Given this scenario, I offer to serve as your governor in the 2023 March 11th elections. And I urge that you so engage me. There is work to be done. I implore you to so engage me. So that we can begin the great works that have become so necessary at this time. I urge that we take this very seriously, because the next elections shall be very defining moments. And whenever leaders fail to lead, the consequence is always loss of dignity and lives. We all cannot be born tall, rich, and lucky. And that is why we need a government to create a level playing field and to afford to each and every one of us a fair chance of success in this race of life. And I offer to head that government that will take us on a refreshing new direction and usher in a period of peace, prosperity, and unending progress. At this point, I'd like to crave your indulgence to invite my national chairman, the chairman of my campaign council, the Director General of my campaigns, and of course, by the special grace of God, the next Executive Deputy Governor of Rivers State. And also, the only double professor. Professor Yeke, to join me in unveiling not just my manifesto, but also my manifesto, which speaks to the things that we seek to do and the local government areas where we shall do them. At this time, please join me in the unveiling of the manifesto. Yeah. May we also call the pastor that prayed, please?
Accord.
Oneness and progress.
Accord. Oneness and progress. Oneness and progress. Thank you.
No, you won't be. Yes, also you're unveiling this with 1,000 naira and prayers. 1,000 naira and prayer. You're unveiling it. Naira and prayers.
Your Excellency, Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs and his deputy, chairman of this occasion, our royal fathers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like I said in my earlier remark, we are here to witness the unveilment of Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs' manifesto. And like I said, I want to repeat myself again. This manifesto contains a lot of things that are not too different from the person himself, what he is doing practically. So if on his own, he can be doing these things to better the lives of river people, I believe when he's given responsibility officially, he will do better. So, and you see, the symbol of Accord is thumb. Yes, sir. This thumb is what we are going to use on the election day to decide the future of Rivers State. Amen. We use this thumb to change the narratives. We use this thumb to bring in Chief Lulu Briggs as the elected governor of Rivers State come March 2023. I hereby wish to unveiled this manifesto with 1,000 naira, and I want to pray, may God help him to implement whatever is contained in this manifesto. May God help us to achieve maximally in the elections, and may God help us, may God help him to implement whatever he has promised the Rivers people. May God give him long life, and may this one be a stepping stone for his progress. By the grace of God, this son of Rivers will one day be the Nigeria's president. In the name of God. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, thank you. I think at this time we'll make copies available, and then I welcome the prayer and the best wishes. I welcome the prayers and the best wishes, but I would like to very quickly add that all that I seek and I want to seek is the throne of Rivers. By the time I am done, I think that there are people who will be there and willing to lead Nigeria. I want to give my very best to Rivers State in the next 8 years.
Let's put our hands together as if you're not a suspect here this morning.
So then I'll go back. Yes. Yeah, so I'll go back now and try and explain some of the things that you find, meaningful. Please make copies available to most of the guests. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will be Ladies and gentlemen, after the presentation, there will be question and answers, Q&A session.
Can we have the... So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, that's our policy trust. And here we have, at the very top of it, peace and security. We said that we will maintain a sustainable environment, enable local government autonomy, which is very important, strengthen and empower our institutions, industrialization and wealth creation, strengthen and boost infrastructure, health and wellness, education and human capital development. Now, all of these things are key, but because I have said that what I want to do is to bring prosperity to Rivers people. Now what I want to do is to increase our annual GDP from the 9 billion naira monthly that it is today, monthly GDP, monthly IGR, from the 9 billion naira that it is presently to well over 25 billion in 4 years. And what I want to do is also to increase our annual GDP from the paltry $20 billion it is today to well over $350 billion in 12 to 16 years. Now, we will not be in office in 12, 16 years, but we would have laid the foundation for exponential growth, such that River State, at the time we leave office, would have become too big to fail. So, I'll take us straight away to what we're trying to do, opening up access to the sea. Now, this is very important, because the major difference between River State and Lagos State today is that Lagos State is using their seas optimally, and we are making no revenues at all from our seas. We have the Onne seaport that is almost not functional today. And so we have thought of what to do to make the Onne seaport quite functional. And what are we going to do in that situation? We intend to very quickly build a 200 kilometers, well, it won't be exactly 200 kilometers because there are some federal roads that this road shall, be adjoining roads to. A 200 kilometer bi-directional expressway all the way from, if you're looking at the map here, we're going to do that all the way from Anderekri in Okrika. From Anderekri in Okrika, we shall connect Isaka. From Isaka, we shall connect Bakana. And from Bakana, we shall connect Tumbia. And then Tumbia will come across to Obakri in Emoha. And then we'll approach the east-west and go to Ndone. And at the end of our border between Ndone, and our borders in the east, it's just 49 kilometers from Onitsha. Now, once we do that, we cut travel time from well over 5-point-something hours that it will take to travel from the east to River State to just under 2 hours. And for Onne Port to also become a major cargo port, which we shall do in collaboration with the federal government, we intend also at Anderekri to have a bonded terminal, so that to decongest Onne Port, as soon as the vessels arrive on airport, we use smaller bodies to move the goods to Anderekri. And of course, at Anderekri, also in collaboration with the federal government, you will have customs and excise. You have young men and women who will be engaged in clearing, and forwarding. There will be humongous, opportunities, which we shall, create. Unfortunately, the map is so that from here I can't quite see, the map, the things that are written on the map very properly. But that's what, we intend to do, and this is quite key. Because once we have done that and then we have made our airport fully functional again, then we become again what we are supposed to be, the major commercial center for commerce in both the south-south and the southeast and also the northern part of Nigeria. Now, what we also intend to do is to have a massive fishing terminal, fishing jetty in Oyorokoto. Now, Oyorokoto is in Andone. We are so blessed that you will find humongous presence of mollusks, crustaceans, everything you need to see in our seas. So our young men and women will be engaged again, and they will use trawlers this time around to go into the seas and bring home massive seafood and fishes. So we're going to have a big market at Oyorokoto. Now, we also intend to start our green rail line from Oyorokoto. But because of the terrain, we will not do that immediately. So we'll start our green rail line from Asrama. Asrama is also in Andoni. And from Asrama, we'll take it all the way down to Ka, in Kana. From Ka to Bori. From Bori, we'll take it into Tai, to a place called Baogoi. And from there, we'll take it to Oyibo and leave a terminal to await the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line that is about to come. Now, once you have done that, then you have effectively ensured that all the humongous farming that we intend to do in the Ogoni areas, in Eche, in Ikwere, the plantation scale mechanized farming, or mechanized agriculture, farming that we intend to do, will have processes that will prepare our goods for export. So we are not just trying to do sustenance agriculture. There will be that level, of course, so that people at that level can also get engaged. But we're thinking of doing very humongous things. And because we are going to have this green rail line, which will, at the first instance, stop in a chain. But in another 3 to 4 years after that is done, we intend to move it all the way to Eche local government, and from Eche, we'll move it right through Ikwere into Emoha. Now, at Emoha, we also intend, we are trying to do ourselves, so that's what we're going to do. At Emoha, we intend to have our tech city. Emoha is a major estate. It's a gateway to several places. So at Emoha, we're going to have our tech city. At Emoha, we also will have the first in Nigeria, the first in Africa, and the first, I would say, in the world, where you have a big textile factory producing fabrics from polyester. We have a lot of petroleum products, and these are all byproducts of what we have. So we hope that we're going to have yet another very major petrochemical industry in Ogbolo. And then from there, of course, because even in Dorama that we have, none of our petrochemical industries today produces polyester. And polyester is beautiful for fine fabrics. So we are going to, I just saw recently that even the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is urging the Nigerian government to go into textiles. So we are going to begin it here in River State, and from River State we'll conquer the rest of the world. And as we have said, by the time the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri line is open to us, we would have, of course, taken care of the East. We would have, of course, taken care of the East, and then we'll be going well into Africa, through Central Africa and East Africa. By the special grace of God, we shall conquer conquer East Africa and Central Africa, the same way Lagos has conquered West Africa. Because the target for us is to be as competitive as you possibly can have in this very highly competitive 21st century. So it is all about industrialization, and industrialization. In Soku, of course, we have huge, abundant gas reserves. So we intend to have Soku called the Energy City. At Soku, of course, we will ensure that power generation is optimal. And of course, the feedstock for that, will be the gas that is in abundance in Soku. The entire exuberance of the American economy can be put down to 3 innovations: the microchip, the computer, and the internet. And that is what Silicon Valley has done for them in America. where you have a triumvirate alliance of big businesses, of the academia, and also of government. So we are hoping that we are going to have a tech city in Emoha. And very soon, Emoha will become the Silicon Valley of Rivers State and of Nigeria. In Abolima, they say we do not have land, but we intend to have a massive hospital, well over 300 beds, with all the equipment that you can think of, full with diagnostic centers and everything. And I have a massive family land, which by the special grace of God, we shall give to the River State government. It's called Luluama. There's a jetty, and there are a lot of amount of tourism that we will attract from the kinds of things that we want to do, as such that you will be very proud of us. Each time that we ask economists, what are the major revenue earners for River City, tell us. It's tourism and agriculture. Look at Abua Odua, for instance, where we saw Mama. Abua has humongous clay deposits. And we don't even have a clay factory. Imagine that we have a clay factory in Abua, producing ceramics, tiles, for local consumption, and then of course after, for the instant consumption, for Nigeria, and of course for Africa. Humongous, huge clay deposits that we have in Abuja, and we have done nothing about it. In Ikwere, for instance, we have a lot of palm products, nothing we're doing with it. We can have industries that will produce fast-moving consumer goods, like cosmetics and soaps and all of that, and have our people gainfully employed. Have massive rice mills. So in each of our areas, we have planned what we are going to do to ensure that we create that interconnectivity where our people are gainfully employed. And each effort that we make at development, we take into cognizance the fact that we had 4 divisions, and each of those divisions were intended to become cities. So in all the industries and development that we're going to carry out, in all the infrastructure development that we're going to carry out, in all of these areas, we shall do that with city status in mind. So hopefully, Bori will no longer be a glorified municipal council. Bori will become a thriving metropolitan city. And that will also be the fate of Degema and Ahoda, in line with Port Harcourt. Even the monorail that we have, because we intend for Port Harcourt to become a mega city, we shall get the best of engineering advice to see how best we can use the monorail. And we are thinking that we can do something very quickly. And that the monorail could go from, by the government house where it is, all the way to railway, the station, and then of course railway. From railway we'll go across to prisons, and from prisons we take it all the way to the tourist beach, and from the tourist beach we'll go across, to Abuloma. And from Abuloma we'll come over to Transamadi, and then of course, to Rumokrushi. We think that that is very possible, and that shall be the first phase, and after that, we will begin to think of how to move it all the way to Chuba, and then of course, to Emoha. So we are thinking of very humongous things that we shall do. In all our communities where they have concerns about internal roads, those will be things of the past. In Bori, I see that in kind of local government, Kono Beach is no longer there, but we shall revive Kono Beach and make it a major tourist attraction to bring humongous revenues for River State. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say to you is that I have set my sights where our collective strides can take us. And I shall commit my every minute to 60 seconds of productive activity for Rivers people. That's the minimum that I owe Rivers people. I have said time and again that I have sworn eternal fidelity to the just causes and pursuits of the Rivers man, woman, and child. And just here today, my party chairman quoted what my father always says to me, that the hour shall find the man. And I pray that this hour, River State, find me. And with that, I will say that may the Lord of our weary years and our silent tears lift our hearts to the challenges of this present moment. And let us be able to rise to get it done, so that our actions or inactions, when viewed in the backward glance of history, will not stand as eternal monuments against us. This hour, may River State find me. So help us God. Thank you, and God bless us. Okay, no.
Does it say more? You want to hear more? You want to hear more? Anyway, you have heard the manifesto.
Let me do something, please.
You have heard it, and it's only proper if you really listen to him. You have one or two questions to ask, and I'm sure His Excellency in waiting has answers to anything you want to ask him here this afternoon. Please, we won't take much questions here because our time is limited to our streaming. So please, go straight to the point and make your point. Thank you. Anybody please? Questions? Okay. I can see Chief Genebrate there.
I'll go straight to the point. I am not surprised at what I've heard. What I want to say is not even a question, it's a suggestion, please. Please, what this message we have now should be broadcast well. Let more people hear, because many people outside of here will not be able to hear what we have heard and understand what we understand. Let it spread, sir. Let it spread. Let the rivers who really want to hear this sort of thing, give them a chance. Anyhow, we do not have basically let this word spread. Let them know that there is hope. Thank you.
I'm still looking. Okay, over there.
Thank you.
Please make it very snappy.
Thank you, Chief Genebrate. God bless you.
After this, we'll have one woman and one youth.
It's all right. Good day, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
My name is Honorable Jeremiah. That is, a week ago, when I had privilege to some of your thoughts, I was sharing with a group of thinkers, and they said to me, can he do it? Because the government house itself has its own way of handling situations. The man you are talking about, if he enters there, won't what torment others torment him to do the otherwise than what you think he is doing? So I told them the man I know and I follow is a man of God, that those things cannot defeat him. How true will my position stand? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Jeremiah. Well, I agree with you we have felt quite disappointed several times. But I know that I'll be the man that I am today is the man that I was yesterday and the man that I'll be tomorrow. My pastor always says that 10 boys don't play together in 10 years. But at the nose of only one man, Dumo Lubrix, who has been playing with the same 40 boys in the last 40 years. So affluence has changed nothing. In and out of season, I'll remain true, as my father always says to me when I was a little boy, to thyself always be true. And as day follows night, that which will be, will be. I am Dumo Lulubrix today. I will be Dumo Lulubrix tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, His Excellency in waiting. My question is just on I am Susan Serekarawikana, Chairperson, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Rivers State Chapter. His Excellency in waiting, we are already one of your partners and we know that you've addressed a lot of issues concerning women before us. But when you were talking, this came up. You talked about massive production of seafoods and fishes. And I wish to know, as we all know that some of our challenges, our major challenges, are oil spillage, oil pollution, and debris on the seas, which has also contributed, negatively affected the high production of these fishes and seafoods. Does your mini manifesto and the manifesto, because we have two of them here, proffer solution to this so that the common man and woman who goes out there on the sea to fish are able to catch enough fishes and these seafoods to be able to put foods on their table and also to the generality of the public. Because we discovered that today 1 cup of Isam is 500 naira or thereabouts. So can you please help in addressing, convincing us now how the issue of oil spillage, the water debris, and the rest of them will be taken care of so that we can go to the sea and get it done. Pregnant women can be able to see those seafood to eat and be happy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much. Well, my concern in my private life has been more, especially for those of us who live in the shadows of life. But I understand that in government, what you have to do is to create opportunities, for everyone. And what you've asked is quite potent. However, by the special grace of God, our seas are not as polluted. Our waters or rivers are. But then, even as we suffer this huge pollution crisis, we still have well over 270 species of fish in our waters. Our women will still find Isam, and we are going to provide for inland and coastal security. We shall employ technology and also drone technology in securing our inland and, of course, our waterways. The biggest challenge that our women have had is issue of security, kidnappings, and all that on our seas. But you know that what we want to do is to let you know that we understand that politics is war. Politics is the war without bloodshed. But war it is. War against hunger, war against illiteracy, war against joblessness, even the war against hate, because we have become very hateful of ourselves. And by the time we fight these wars successfully, the war against insecurity would have been won 90%. We are creating a situation where our young people shall be gainfully employed. We are not unmindful of the fact that today, 42% of our people are unemployed. We're not unmindful of the fact that today, 18% of our people are underemployed. That means our graduates who work as taxi drivers, security men, and cooks. So this is a huge problem on our hands. And we are going to very quickly approach governance with the level of speed that it requires. Our government shall be a listening government. In our government, we shall maintain in our listening 360 degrees radius, so that even the words that you do not utter, we will hear. Be rest assured that everything humanly possible we shall do to make sure that River State becomes a beacon of hope. River State becomes a beacon of hope. When I went to Emelago, and this is an aside, I was late in getting there because the floods had caused massive devastation for more than 2 weeks before I got there. But even as late as it was, I was the first to be there. And 2 weeks after, I was the only physical presence that came with some relief and hope to the people of Emelago. So I understand exactly what our people are going through, and the need to create that prosperity that will bind our people together. River State was created with a sole purpose, which is to offer prosperity to all our peoples. Today, when more than 98% of our people are left out of that prosperity, we have become a people divided. Now we know that we're Ekwere people, we're Ogoni people, we're Ekpeye people. We are going to address these challenges head on, bring about that humongous prosperity that shall hold our fabric together. We are not a homogeneous group, we're not all Ekweres, but what has kept us together is our common prosperity, our sense of a common destiny and a common future. And we shall allow nothing to threaten that sense. By the special grace of God, by the time we leave office, River State will be recognized in the Committee of States in Nigeria, and River State will be chasing Lagos. We may not be able to overtake Lagos in 8 years, 8 years, but I can assure you that with the level of work that we will do, and by the special grace of God, those who shall succeed us will come with that same level of determination. That River State will not be talking about a 350 trillion GDP. We'll be talking about the $1 trillion, GDP. That's our prayer, for River State. So, my dear sister, be rest assured that our mothers, our women will be given equal opportunities. But the sort of farming and fishing that we're talking about now will be humongous. So you'll be talking about the use of trawlers and the rest. So we're going to come up with special arrangements where trawlers are available to young men and women, on hire. Because we want to have situations where our people become millionaires and billionaires. At the time that we finish, I want to make bold to say that our government will not be judged by the number of our children who have gone to schools, but by the quality of their education. That by the time that we are finished, we will not be judged by the number of our people who have become gainfully employed, but whether or not, in their numbers, they now own their own homes and their own businesses. We will not be judged by the amount of brick and mortar that we have thrown around, but by the sheer number of persons, families and households that we would have taken from poverty into prosperity and from prosperity to yet greater prosperity. That's our dream, and that's the task ahead of us, and that is what Rivers State shall become. It shall become a very prosperous state. And when that happens, we'll become proud of our state again. And then when we tune on to our radios, we will hear again. Rivers State is a great state. Yes, my friends, that's not in doubt. Rivers State will remain great only if you put in your best. You can do it. I can do it. We all can do it if we try. So let's do it. Let us do it. Let us make Rivers State great. We must make Rivers State great. Don't let this chance pass us by. Therefore, I want to urge you. Therefore, I want to urge you that as you go to cast your votes on March the 11th, remember that you will not be voting for me. Don't have me at the back of your mind. Remember that you'll be voting for that old woman in Abo-Odua. You'll be voting for the people of Ungo. You'll be voting for that young boy in Emelago. You'll be casting your vote for the future of Rivers State. And I want to believe that that is what the commitment of all of us, because we all seek a very great and prosperous Rivers State. And so help us God.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you've been watching a live broadcast of the Town Hall meeting and manifesto presentation of the Accord Party taking place in Port Harcourt ahead of the gubernatorial polls, which will hold on March the 11th this year. The governorship candidate of the state, that's Dumo Lulu Briggs, is making promises that with the level of work that will be done in Rivers State, should they emerge victorious, he's saying that Rivers State will be comparable to Lagos State in terms of the achievements that will be recorded after their completion of their term. He also gave assurances that the Accord Party will be a listening government and assured residents of Rivers State that it will become a beacon of hope if the party emerges victorious.
That's right. Of course, he also promised that Rivers State would become the heartbeat of not just West Africa, but East Africa as well, as he unveiled an extremely ambitious plan to industrialize by increasing the rail infrastructure and road infrastructure of the state, connecting it to the rest of the nation, of course, the rest of Africa.